Too late. We're live. Waiting on David.
Farts. Old farts. Two old farts. Steve and Dave. Sometimes you find a diamond in the rough. Not this time, though. This is just rough. Two old farts. There is no better waste of time. Two guys. Two old guys. A lot of BS and more drivel than you can shake a stick at. Steve and Dave. God help us.
And we're here.
Yeah.
Who knew?
Yeah, that's all new for Vicky, I think.
Well, knew she's going to be joining us late. We have a special guest. First of all, let me just say this. This is definitely an 18-plus show. So if you have kiddies that are listening with you in the car, oh, David left. He's not 18-plus apparently.
He's not 18.
If you have kiddies listening in the car, the kids probably need to not hear this, unless you want them to. And if you're watching on YouTube and you have kids around, you probably don't want to. I personally don't care if kids hear this. It's all about, we're going to be talking to a real live dominatrix. David has already said he wants a spanking, so that's another show, and we'll record that. David keeps popping in and out.
He's going to get one because
I think David's going to get a spanking just for that. So we'll see if David makes it back because, you know, I think he blushes now. We're going to have Mistress K join us. And then she has an OnlyFans page. She is a real dominatrix. And for the people that have listened to our other shows, know that I met her, I met her at a party many years ago. And at a friend's house. And we've stayed friends ever since. And I thought she would be a fun guest to have. So, David, are you ready, or you can't control your excitement and you keep popping in and out, kind of like your love life?
Yeah. What can I say?
You can't.
Just
the one show with a dominatrix, David's screwed. All right. Well, let's bring in Mistress K. Are you ready, David? Are you okay? You got your rubber pants on? You're good to go?
I'd lost all audio, so I had to go out and come back in again.
But you're good now.
Doing live.
Yeah. Well, at your age, you lose a lot of things: faculties, audio, bowel movements. Yeah, I got it. We're good. All right, kids, here we go.
Dear.
And there she is, everybody, Mistress K.
Good morning. Hello.
Good morning.
What we'll do for everybody is we'll make sure that we have her OnlyFans page and everything will be below. So if you want to get in touch with her or see what she does, you can go to her OnlyFans page. And I don't know if you take clients in person or whatever, so we'll discuss all that. You can tell us about your OnlyFans page. So I think to start, let's just do this. Tell us, she's like, oh, great. Tell us what a dominatrix is or / does, and let us go from there. Okay. And then everyone can ask questions.
So basically a dominatrix is, a woman or a female that
that's a woman right
power
there.
Over mind, body, sometimes even finances over
right. But that's a femdom, right?
Femdom, yes.
Right. So you have to remember, everybody watching this is probably going to be very vanilla. So make sure you explain when you start branching off, you need to explain.
So that's actually what I do. You give me control over what area you want me to take control over it, whether it's financial, whether it's, mind, whether it's body. I do have a few virtual clients just because, they're far away from me. I'm based in California. So if anyone's here and has some questions, we can totally, meet for a cup of coffee, a light spanking, and we can get those answered. But
David,
for the most part, everything is consensual. This isn't just me grabbing something and just starting to beat you. Everything is talked about firsthand. There are, in some scenarios, there are even contracts involved. So it's, so everyone's on the same page.
Very cool. See, I know all this because I've dabbled in this many years ago when I was a young lad, last week. So I'm very familiar with all this. So like for Vicky and David, and if news shows up. So what questions?
No, I know a lot about it.
Oh, good, Vicky, tell us.
I love that. Okay,
I do.
Well, before we get into all the ins and outs, the thing, of course, which everybody has already asked me to ask you to come on the show is, how did it all happen? How did you roll into doing this?
That's my
How
question
did it?
too.
Oh, wow. Okay. That started many years ago. I want to say at least 10 years ago. I think, just dating around, being young and dumb, I kind of noticed that I was able to manipulate certain situations to my advantage, certain people. And with that, I realized that they actually would submit to me. And I figured, you know what, I should probably dig into this a little deeper. And I did, get some guidance from some professional DOMs at the time as well. And between being, a sub and a dominatrix, a dom kind of came up and we just started some training. And here we are 10 years later
But
doing it
wait,
all
tell
on my
everybody what a
own.
sub is, because most people may not
Yes.
know what a sub is. So let's
So
explain what that is.
a sub is short for a submissive, so there are times where you may feel that you are not the dominant one, so therefore you will be the submissive and you will be the one, being told what to do and how to act and how to, how to play. So that's what a submissive is.
So here's a question.
Mistress K, is this done in a confinement then of? Is it always done in a home, in a hotel, or is this? Can this be done in public? Do people do this in public?
It can. Honestly, yes. I know a few mistresses that do have, their pets, their submissives
Yeah,
out in
I've
public. They're
seen that.
walking them out on a leash. Yes.
Mhm.
I do not do that. But anywhere from a hotel room to a professional dungeon to someone's home. I mean, I'm actually in the middle of the room I'm in is actually going to be my dungeon here in my home. So kind of trying to prep it. It looks very vanilla right now, guys, but I promise as time goes by, I'll give you guys an update on what the room looks like.
And what is a professional dungeon then? How would I enter it or could find
Carefully.
one? Is it in
Oh,
is it in the yellow pages? I mean, how would I go about
Well, David,
honestly,
finding
just
one?
before you enter, David, the yellow pages went away in the 1830s when you were in your 50s. So there's no more yellow pages. This new thing, it's called
No,
a phone. It's one
I
of
know.
these, and it has
look at that.
everything there. Yeah. So just letting
Yeah,
you know. So
I do appreciate that, but we started right from the get-go by saying we'll go back to ground zero in regards to education. So we
there
start,
you go.
so
Okay.
so that's what I'm just trying to ascertain. So
So,
maybe I don't have a smartphone, but so where does that leave me? I mean, years
Or
ago,
electricity.
if you wanted to find a lady to help you through difficult moments in your life, you'd have to go to a telephone booth and find a card that had been left inside. So
agreed.
so no,
There's no more telephone
that's
booths, David. So,
I know. So you talk about things like, forgive me, I'm not being deliberately stupid. It comes quite naturally to me, I'm
No.
sure.
I was going to
But
say, no, it's a good thing.
but this you said a dungeon, like a professional dungeon. So how would I
Yes.
find such a thing?
So most of the time, most mistresses will have a specific location. Sometimes they work out of, so
Okay,
that refers
okay,
to the dungeon. And
yeah,
most of the time, the dominatrix you get in touch with will be the one to let you know. If we're playing in a dungeon, they'll let you know where to go. They're not just gonna leave you, lost. I promise you, they will let you know where where to meet up.
yeah.
And I find it
So
fascinating, the whole sort of relationship of it, because it is a very much, people might think that it's like you said, you grabbing control of someone. It's very much something that they need. Like subs need that, and
Yes.
that's what they go looking for. And that whole sort of symbiotic relationship where it is all consensual and you set things up ahead of time, you have your safe words and you know where you're going to play. Like I find that whole world fascinating. And like
safe
David said, I
words.
was just kind of like interested in how the jump happened from interest to being in that world, because that's
Yeah.
something I've never done. Like I've consumed a lot of content, but
She's been in a
it's
lot of
kind of like
content
it
too.
seems like a lot
So
of commitment. Like it is a serious thing, and like
It
you
is.
know, Like, can you
Agreed.
stick your foot in the pool and then, or do you have to like jump in the pool? Like
No, honestly, I encourage, I encourage a lot of, people to just give it a try. Start slowly, figure out your role. And like I said, not everyone can be a dominant, not everyone is meant to be a submissive either. So I think just starting slow and incorporating, some aspects of it, maybe a little porn, some videos, some of the toys,
oh
and
yeah,
just
already
kind of
way past
starting.
that. Okay, so my foot is in the pool. Okay, good. All right, all right.
Yeah,
Wait, let's
All right.
just be
absolutely.
clear. She's waist in the pool. She's waist up. Okay,
Yeah.
she's like just one
Got my
more step,
floaties
and
on in the
she's going to
pool.
be like the here in the
She's just,
pool.
yeah.
Okay, so. But wait, Vicky, are you a
Okay,
dom or a
that's good.
sub?
See, I'm pretty sure I'm a sub. I wonder
Okay.
if like you could be a switch, like kind of like, if you're in a same-sex relationship, like could you switch them?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You
Okay.
can. It's honestly, I think one of the biggest things too within, this world or this lifestyle is that a lot of people think you are just defined by one role. For
Mm.
example, me, yes, I am a dominatrix, but I can also be called a switch. I am currently seeing a sadist, and so, and I am his submissive. So,
Gotcha.
because of that, I can definitely consider myself a switch. You don't have to stick to one role specifically. I happen to be able to dominate body and mind over quite a few people. And, my style doesn't necessarily need to, it doesn't need to fit somebody else's. You will find the right dom, whether it's a male or female. You'll be able to find someone that's for you. But absolutely play with both roles.
Interesting.
I started that way. I was a submissive before I was a dominatrix. I needed to learn, needed to learn the ropes, and also needed
Mm.
to see what the other side felt. So
Oh, sure,
definitely
that's a good
switch it
point.
up. Yeah,
I
you
hadn't thought
have
about
to.
that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh wait,
You know.
now here comes Noosh. This is going to be good.
Oh, okay.
This is Noosh. Noosh, this is
Ouch.
Mistress K. Oh my God. Let's just get Noosh. Let's give Noosh a
Wait.
single.
Well,
Why this reminds me of
unfortunately,
this reminds me from Russia to Love. This is what this
Okay,
reminds
she
me of.
looks
I'm
like a
sorry.
Q-tip.
no, but so okay, listen. So I was supposed to have an actual dominatrix outfit that has not arrived yet. So I did the
Oh.
second best thing, the Russian dominatrix that lives in me.
Okay, there you go. So we were just discussing
Oh,
Mistress K. This is Noosh, Mistress K. We were just
Nice to meet
discussing
you.
her. She's in a relationship with a sadist. So what I was going to ask her to do is explain to somebody what that means, what a sadist is, because most people don't know what that is, and they think it's something terrible. But my joke about a sadist, and because most of the people that know me know in business I'm a sadist, but a friend of mine's a masochist, and we were walking along the street one day, and my friend said, "Would you beat me?" And I go, "No, maybe later. You guys can think about that later. I'm here till Thursday, try the veal." But anyway, so this is Mistress K. So she's setting up a dungeon in her house, and Vicky was just asking her how she got started. So now that you've joined us, you can ask whatever
That's
questions,
perfect.
because we know you have tons of questions.
Well, that was the first one that I wanted to ask. You already answered that, how you got started?
Yes.
Yes, I
Oh
did.
man, all right, so I'll have to rewatch
She
it.
was at university.
Well,
Her
I'm gonna
professor tied her up, and he
imagine a
spanked her, and then
professor.
was off to the races. Just
Steven.
helping out. What?
So, I mean, where are you? I mean, a little bit more logistical. Where are you logistically located in the world?
I
As far as-
am I am in California. So
Oh,
I
Southern
am
California. Very nice.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Your client, you said you have some virtual clients, and then you have some, I guess,
yes.
clients you see
Yes.
personally. So how do your clients find you? I mean, I know you have an OnlyFans page because I asked you to send me that so we can post that so everybody can go to OnlyFans if they want you to be their mistress. Or their dominatrix, I should say. So how does people find you? Are they finding you with OnlyFans? Is there a website that you post on? Is
There
it,
isn't. Honestly, most of my clients are actually word of mouth. And
okay.
Makes
I
sense.
figured, that's probably the best. Yeah, I may be just a little old school, but I think that's the best way to go, just because someone can always speak from experience, what
Right.
they went through, what it's
Mhm.
like. And, if your friend is doing something, you're more inclined to listen and to maybe even give it a try. So most of my clients are word of mouth. OnlyFans, honestly, just started earlier this year, just, to expand a little bit.
Okay.
Website is being built as we speak, but most clients are word of mouth, honestly.
Very
So
cool.
that's how I go about my business. Word of mouth, the same. You
Word
trust
of
the
mouth.
people.
Sure, you're a Russian dominatrix. How else you gonna get it? So there you go. So all right. So
Putting my gloves earlier, I was like, I wonder if I would be a good dominatrix. I mean, I had thoughts while I was putting those gloves on.
that's too wild. Okay, so we
Because
know
the
Vicky.
outfit, I mean, the
Vicky.
outfit is like everything. Like, I mean, like not everything, but like it's probably easier to be a priest when you dressed up as a priest. Like it's like the outfit is part of the whole spiel, right?
You get
Only if
into
you're a
your role.
pedophile. Yeah.
Mm.
So you have to be a priest. So we know Vicky is waist up into the BDSM pool right now. So Vicky, and to Mistress K. So you have Vicky here who's a sub, right? So if Vicky came
Yes.
to you and said, "I want you to be my dominatrix," what's your difference in dominating, if you will, a woman to a man? And then my other question is, having known people that are in this space, your clientele are not just blue collar. Your clientele could be whether lawyers, doctors, attorneys, same as a lawyer, police officers, judges, and whatnot. Right? Your
They'd be blue
clientele is
collar.
Correct.
a wide spectrum of men that want to transfer the power that they have. So really,
Mm.
it's a transfer of power, if I'm not mistaken, being a dominatrix.
Correct. It is.
Yeah.
And honestly, there is no difference really between how you um, take control over men or women. Honestly,
Right.
it all just comes down to what the scenario looks like, what kind of play they're into. I have sessions that are honestly as light as just tickling, and some are a little bit heavier
Right.
where canes and certain toys are used, and it's a little bit more painful. So
I love the tickling. My
just for
goodness,
your
I had no
style.
idea.
So I
So
heard pain. I got
whether
excited anyway because I like to inflict it. So you do that. So I guess my other question is then you said earlier about a safe word. So explain to everybody what a safe word is, and I guess also explain what a sadist is.
of
And I'm sorry
course.
for the stupid joke earlier, but I think
No.
to give people a context of what all that is.
Yeah.
So what's a safe word so people understand that?
So a safe word is a word we both agree on, myself and the other party, where that means stop. All play comes to a stop immediately, no
Right.
matter how fun or how hard it is. It means a hard stop. And as a dominatrix, that's something I have to respect, because obviously that builds trust between me and my submissive. Sometimes it can be that it is becoming a little too much for them, maybe whether it's emotional or physical. So that's essentially my boundary. I have to stop right at that moment. It can be
Right.
anything silly. Honestly, it can be a color, it can be something as funny as, a fruit, whatever it is, whatever you're comfortable with, that's what we'll use.
I have a good story about this actually.
No.
I used to host dinners, like with like 10 people that I would know and 10 people that people would invite, like of very different people. And somehow we had a very sexually open table that night, and we were going around, and somehow we ended up asking some people were they safe words. And then that couple just wanted, like, they were the last one going, and they just like stopped eating, looked at themselves, and then looked at the whole table and said, boring. That was their safe word.
Safe
That's a
words. Isn't that
terrible
for
was
like
safe
brilliant.
word.
pussies? No, I'm just kidding. So does everybody that plays have a safe word? Do they have to have a safe word?
Yes, they do.
Mhm.
Yes, they do.
Okay.
Everybody has to, because mm, I love to push boundaries. I love to push your limits. And if it becomes too
Right.
much, you need to be able to tell me when to stop as well. And it's for your safety
Gotcha.
too, emotionally and physically.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
Steve,
it's
there
what
was
usually
would be
something
your safe word?
strange like that because it's usually something unusual because when you're playing, you might
Mhm.
be playing a realistic scenario where no doesn't necessarily mean no.
No,
So
exactly. So
Right.
they have to have something weird that kind of
that triggers me to know, okay, this means
right,
stop. Yeah, there was a
right.
story not too long ago, I think actually a few years ago, where certain things in this industry can also go very wrong. There was a mistress who I want to say she was probably on the newer side. And their submissive was as well. And she didn't know that her submissive had a really strong latex allergy. And she basically suited him up, ball gagged him, and essentially the scene was pretty intense. Basically, the submissive ended up dying. So
Wow.
had she known to not go that strong into a scene, especially with someone so new, that could have definitely been avoided. So honestly, safe words are meant to be safe, for the submissive and for myself as well. So
And so,
How
So,
does
Claudia
it
was
work?
Mistress
able to.
K,
Hold on a
things
second. So
happen.
how
Mistress
does it
K,
work when you have a gag on? How do you do that? Sign language? Like if you have a gag in your mouth, what?
Honestly, I won't do any type of gagging scene with anyone that's new with me. Honestly, we must have been playing for quite some time before I even tried to do that. And just because, we need to be able to trust each other. The ones that are comfortable with that, honestly, will just kind of like tap out on a wall or something. Most of the time, I will give them a paddle so they can like hit, and I know, okay, if they hit 3 times, that means stop. So, but see, there's a lot of trust built with those people that like to play that way.
But the other thing that you also
Mistress
have to
K,
remember,
I can
the
say,
people that are listening.
so
Wait,
I,
David. Wait, David. Wait. The people that are listening is that this is not a sexual thing. They're like, you're not having sex with your submissives.
I
You're
am not.
it's a transfer of power, and I think that's where people watch too many.
Correct.
And I'm going to pick on Vicky for a second. Too many porns, right? Where they tie
They
up the
do.
girl and 42 guys come over, and what? But this is much different. This is a transfer of power, and there's nothing
Yes.
sexual about it.
Right.
So people don't understand that. I mean,
They
the male
don't.
or the female may ejaculate, but the mistress isn't doing that. The mistress is just doing everything but. So it's very much a
Correct.
transfer of power, and as she said, trust. So
It
people have to
is.
understand that going to see, for lack of a better word, dominatrix, or getting into
Mhm.
the scene of BDSM, you're not. It's not sex. That's something different. That's porn, like on whatever
Correct.
you get your porn. This is really a transfer of power, and somebody has a fetish, if you will, for lack of a better word, that
Correct.
wants to explore it. If
Yes.
that's yeah, there
And
you
in a safe space, of course,
go. Right.
being able to explore that and not feeling, I think the biggest thing is just feeling ashamed,
Right.
and feeling like, okay, am I weird for liking this, or I don't feel comfortable talking to, my significant other or partner about this, but I want to explore without feeling that shame. So that's where I come in, and
Mhm.
that's where we discuss everything and go over, scenes and likes, dislikes. It really does come down to it being an actual friendship and relationship. So, and that's where most people think, they confuse the two. It is a type of a sex work essentially, but I am not having sex with clients. Hmm.
Do you have couples that
Fascinating.
come to you?
I do mostly for questions, honestly, rather than actual play. But I always encourage them, the same. I always tell them, try it, start slow. Don't just, grab the shiniest, hardest toy you can find. Don't do that. Start off slow always. Yeah. But couples usually
so
have a lot of questions, which is really nice. It's really nice to kind of
yeah.
walk someone through the process.
So, Mistress K, so I think that it might be something for me, and I make an appointment with you then. And
Yes, you
is
would
it
have to make
like,
an appointment with me.
yeah,
Can we video
and
this
so
appointment?
so would it,
I'll send you a copy of it.
Thanks.
so only if I had then just think, oh, there could be something for me. I mean, I'm going to be quite banal and say, yeah, is there a menu that you could choose from, or is that? I mean, how does that very first encounter with you come around? I mean, is it also so that you jump straight into it the first time? Maybe you talk about building trust, or do you
No,
say,
so the first meeting
or
it
would I,
usually
or would I
is
come
over
away?
like dinner.
Excuse me, or would I come away from the first one and think, oh, she just wants me to go back again because I've got to pay again when I go and see her? How do you overcome that?
Honestly, that's actually a really great question. And no, honestly,
Thank you.
most of the times we will, require, yes, some type of deposit because, it is at the end of the day our time as well, our expertise, our
Yeah.
knowledge, about this. Now, most of the time, I always say the first meeting we're going to have, think of it as the one date you're going to have with me, an actual date. We might grab lunch, we might grab dinner, and this is the time where we actually talk things out. What are your likes, dislikes? What are you afraid of? How far can I push my boundaries in a scene with you? So everything is talked about beforehand. And most of the time, nothing really happens after the first date. And it's not because, oh, you need to pay again. If you want to go into, a scene and actually get down and dirty, that's, arranged separately. But the first meeting usually allows you to, kind of, pick my brain about it, and I also have the opportunity to get to know you. So
Yeah.
most of the time that deposit, if you don't, let's say, book a session with me within, let's say, a month's time after our initial date, then you know what, you forfeit that deposit. Now, if you are, serious about serving me, then we'll use that deposit towards, the future play, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do your clients have you on a retainer?
A few of my clients I've actually known for a few years, so they don't need to, but they do know, if by any chance they miss a session, it's very frowned upon. So they know better than to late cancel, basically.
Do you punish them?
What?
Do you punish
Do you
them if they
punish
miss
them?
a session?
I do. They
Oh
get
my god, I
punished
love that.
sometimes.
I would miss a
Sometimes
session just for that.
Oh yeah, trust me. Oh, trust me. I have punished some of them severely because they cancel very last minute, and they learn to not
Mm,
do that again. And
mm,
punishments can go anywhere from a good caning to, even ignoring them. Sometimes, ignoring a person, it really, really gets into their head, and they
mm.
know better for next time.
And just so you know, she does take female clients. So FYI.
I do.
So
I heard that.
She's like thinking out. She's like, how do I get to LA now? I can get on a plane. What do I tell
Christmas,
Michael?
yeah,
Yeah.
Christmas gift.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I
So
guess if you cannot do that over a computer, that's not fun.
you mean a spanking? No, it's
Yeah.
very difficult to spank someone over a computer, Noosh. So when someone calls you and says Joe Schmo recommended you, or now 10 million people are going to see this, and you get all these people now that are like, hey, I may want you to be my dominatrix or my mistress or whatever it might be. So what is if they're not coming, like, just say all of us were clients of yours, and I said, hey, Noosh is new, she's okay, you should talk to her. That's an easy screening, right? Because it's coming from people you know. What happens
Yes.
now if people reach out to you that you don't know? What's your screening process for that?
Honestly, talking to them, and a lot of the times people forget to address others with respect. Sometimes you'll
Right.
just have people just right out of the get-go speak to me like just very disrespectfully, cursing at me or cursing in general. And they forget that a first impression means a lot. So I take that into consideration very heavily, how they speak to me, their tone of voice. I do dive a little bit into, believe it or not, even their childhood, because
Mm,
I need to know, if you are coming to me with some harsh traumas, or I just, I need to get to know what I'm getting myself into as well. So
Mm.
if it's a stranger online, honestly, it will happen over the course of a few conversations, not just the initial one. And oh yeah, hey, you're my submissive. No. And like
Right.
I said, not all submissives are, meant for me either. And that's okay. If you want to find someone, more your style, do your research. But I would say you have to get to know what your dominatrix's area of expertise is. For example, me, I am very, very big on corporal punishment, meaning I use the floggers, I use the whips, I use the canes, I use all of those toys. But I am also big into tease and desperation play, meaning that my submissive needs to literally beg for gratification. They can't, I control their orgasms, when, where, how. I do that. Those are my areas of expertise. And if that, doesn't necessarily suit a submissive's, style or what they want, there is someone out there for you as well. Not everyone is meant to be, mixed together. And yeah, sometimes I'll have to tell a few people, hey, it was so nice to meet you, but I just don't think we're going to be a right fit either. So, and you have to have that conversation with them as well.
So your virtual clients, then what do you do for the virtual? So if someone sees this and says, I would like to possibly have Mistress K be my dominatrix, and they reach out to you. So I understand the difference between in person and virtual, but like, what does a virtual submissive then do? Would it be more of a financial submissive, or would it, how's that work?
Some of them are mostly financial, but some
Okay.
of them also, depending on how the conversation works. I can speak. One of my submissives, for example, he is on, he's on the other end of the country. He's in New York City, actually. Most of the times we're very big on, FaceTiming. We're very big on, phone calls, texting. So the communication's always there. And there are certain toys nowadays where I can control from like my own phone. So
Vicky knowing this.
Really?
yeah.
Wow.
So I get to control that,
Okay.
and sometimes there are moments where I will demand for a picture. I will demand for a random check-in throughout the day to see if they are following what I instructed. So,
Okay. And then you don't have to answer this, but I'll ask it because I know people that are going to be listening or watching are going to want to know. So if someone says, I want, whether it's you or someone else, they want them to be your domination, is there like a price range that it's like, and I'm making up now, I know it's somewhere between $1 and $1 million, but is there a range when people call you, or does it depend on the play? Does it depend on if they're going to be a financial submissive over someone that needs a good spanking, so to speak? So how do you price out, or is it sort of like it's X dollars an hour for my services and then that's it?
it is kind of a
Okay.
set price, and
You don't have to tell us what it is. I was just
yeah. No, it is at a set price.
Okay.
I think changing prices depending on things, it just gets confusing, it gets messy. So it's one price and that is it.
Cool. All right.
Yeah.
Could we just roll back a bit to the financial domination? What does that entail then?
So financial domination means that I have complete control over my submissive's money, over their
Yeah, that sounds
finances.
awesome. I want to be that kind of dominatrix. Yes, I found my niche. How do I do that, Mistress K? I'll be your pupil, please.
So what
Yeah.
where's the gratification in that then for your clients?
It's the fact that you feel amazing that you're serving me. It means that you love taking care of me and that you always want to see me happy. That's where that gratification is. You
Okay.
basically get
Okay.
off of knowing that you are of service to me, that you're providing for me. So I control your wallet. I control how you spend it, where you spend it. And if I feel like I want to drain that bank account, then that is what you need to do for me.
Oh my God.
I actually had a
That's
friend
awesome.
many years ago on Wall Street, and he was a submissive, but a financial one. And he would tell us this. And he had, like he said, I have two accounts. I have my real account and I have the one for my dominatrix. And I thought, okay. And it was just, he thought it was the coolest thing. And I was like, being a Jew and a guy from Wall Street, that's not happening. So I was like, I don't get this. But I was like, it gave him greatest pleasure in the world when his mistress would call him. This is before cell phones, of course, and be like, I want boom, boom, boom. And he'd have to go to the bank and do this whole thing. It was a whole thing. And he loved it.
Absolutely.
And I was like, okay, whatever floats your boat. So.
Absolutely.
I'm writing down that on my agenda for this week. This is my homework.
I can see Nushi's show on Friday. It's all going to be like Nushi's going to come out in a new dominatrix outfit, going on in the financial dominatrix.
Well, hopefully by then
It will
I'll have
serve
my
me.
outfit.
So,
Interesting. I had no
All
idea
right.
that that's a thing. God,
Yeah.
if only I met you 20 years ago.
Oh, wait.
It's never too.
Oh, it
Listen,
very much is. Trust
it's
me.
never what you want. It's never too early. It's never too late to start. Anyway, so tell us. You said you were dating a sadist. So tell everybody what a sadist is, because people hear that and they think right away they're sacrificing little children and
They
eating
are.
goats and whatnot. So, which is probably true. But what else is a sadist?
Or somebody that's been in an incredibly long marriage. But there you go.
Yes.
So a sadist is someone who gets off on inflicting pain on another person. So that is what a sadist is. I've been playing with this person for quite some time now. So, it's only right that I basically became a switch for this person, because this is not a person I can dominate. So, I have to take my role as a submissive for them, and that's okay.
There you
Nice.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big
I'm
one.
interested in sort of like a different thing now, where a different subject, I guess I should say. So I'm interested in like the safety of it. So say,
Okay.
you're going to go meet a dom that you've never met before, or you have clients that you've never met before. Like, do you do a background check? And I don't mean safety like in play. I mean safety like, so this guy is not a serial killer, or vice versa. Like that kind of it is. There's a lot of trust involved in that relationship. So how do you, at initial time, know that this person is safe, or you're going to be safe? Like, how does that?
So, the first initial meeting will always be in a public place, first and foremost. I personally do my own screening, where yes, I will ask for, very old school. I will ask for a picture of your ID. I will make sure that, everything matches. I will definitely cross-reference, and make sure that, you have no outstanding, warrants out for you or anything like that.
Makes
But
sense.
most of the time, especially when it is, more or less like a dinner date, so to speak, I will bring, my own security with me. My security is around, in case anything gets crazy, anything gets out of hand. But yes, that I definitely bring with
Interesting.
me. And most of the time,
Okay.
when we are, let's say, in a dungeon, or, we are about to play, I will definitely make sure, at least someone knows where I'm at and who I am with. And it tends to be, my security person, that is aware of this, of who it is and where it's at and all of that. And they also will have access. They are allowed access to wherever I'm at. So if it's at a hotel room, I'll make sure to give my security guard, so to speak, a room key, so they, they are aware and whatnot. But yeah.
Interesting.
That's
And I think
actually a
that's a
really
si-
great question. Yeah, that's honestly
I
really
think
great.
I'm telling
I
you, I'm
think
in the pool. Okay. I'm
yeah,
like in the pool.
she's up to here now in the pool. She's up to
I'm
here
Ready
now
to
in the pool.
go.
yes.
So, but no, but
So
I
just
think it's go ahead, Dave.
let's just talk about money then. So this security guy, you can write that person off against taxes then, because it's
I definitely can.
yeah yeah
I
because
Is
can.
that
And
because
it?
yeah you
honestly, it's only in the case I have someone new physically. It doesn't happen so often now, because, most of my clients I've known for years now. So
word of
there's
mouth
no
and it
need
rolls
for
smoothly.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I can imagine when if you're only halfway in the pool, as some people may or may not be,
Spooky.
um, then yeah, that very first step for building up that first relationships, is fraught with danger, or could be.
It could be. It could be. And that's
Just
something
have to be
that,
smart.
yeah, we have
Don't
to
do
be
dumb
smart.
stuff
Yeah.
ever. Even when you're dating,
Yeah.
like, we talk about that a lot. Like ladies, especially,
Mhm.
like not that men can't, but it's predominantly ladies. So just be smart about where you're meeting, who you're telling, like all that
Oh,
stuff.
absolutely. I completely agree, because,
Yeah.
there's only so much, my clients, have been word of mouth. There's only so much that, their friend is going to tell me about them, and then I really have to get to know them. So, yeah, safety first at all times, no matter who it's with, and no matter even how long
Yeah.
you've known them. So, yeah.
That is
Yeah,
very
well, I
cool.
think that's a golden rule for dating anyway. I remember when I was, just doing, the dating apps that would always, I would say, like, let's meet in a public place. Let's meet in a railway station, or the radio up the
A
concourse,
railway
of the, of,
station. You
Really
yeah,
so
or the
sweet, David.
or the concourse of that, because you then have the opportunity that if somebody came towards you, think you don't look anything like the photograph of the person that I've seen, you have an opportunity to walk by.
There she is.
Sorry, guys.
So
Sorry,
She's back.
guys.
so
A
that
That's
would
lot of
be
us
what
like
do
you
the
that
would
when
initial
wish
Dave's
thing.
for.
talking anyway. We just like check out. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I think, and then to go to a public place somewhere, where you have an opportunity, certainly for ladies, always sit with your back to the door so you can have an opportunity to step up and turn around and leave. All sorts of very simple stuff. It's a dangerous world we live in.
Yeah. Well, it's fascinating, first of all, that they had apps back in 1306. Second of all, so the other thing I thought was interesting is I think that, like I said, when we talked about doing this show, I don't think people realize what this really is. And I think hopefully this gives them an insight. And I think it's not, how do I say this? They're not the ladies of the evening. They're not an escort. They're not right. This is a whole different world. And yes, it can be considered sex work, but actually there's an article that came out many years ago. And a lot of psychologists think of this more as psychological work, because they get to work out there, for lack of a better term, kink. A psychologist really can't. Like if you go to a psychologist, go, I just need to be spanked. They're not going to do that, right? So the service of a dominatrix actually does provide for certain people. It's like the BDSM scene for people who don't know.
Are you suggesting that should be put on your healthcare then?
I've already negotiated that deal for me, that I get to spank people. So yes, they pay me. It's great. But no, I mean, I think it's interesting that, we're so taboo as a society that people hear, oh, dominatrix or BDSM or whatever. They're like, oh my God, that's disgusting. And they know nothing about it. So hopefully we've peeled back the onion a little bit today for people to get an understanding for what it is. And that's it. And if you would like to meet Mistress K, we'll have her contact. Well, we'll have her OnlyFans page below. And then that's up to you to reach out to her and go through her screening. And if you're in Los Angeles, there you go. Noosh, you're not in Los Angeles, so it would have to be video.
No.
I'm sorry. Noosh is very upset right about this.
Well, not today. Not today. Not today. Tomorrow morning should be in LA.
Noosh, I was gonna say we're gonna call Friday. Noosh is gonna be like, I'm in LA. We're gonna do the show from LA, and then I'm gonna go see the mistress after Christmas. Okay, there you go. That'll be fun. You can go see the mistress after Christmas. There you go.
That rhymes.
I know. I'm a poet and I didn't even know it. All right. So before we leave, does anybody else have any other questions for the mistress? Because I'm sure she has someone she has to go punish. So.
Oh my goodness.
I feel like we need to have a part 2 because there's so many.
We need a part 2. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
I need to
Mistress K is awesome, and so can we please have a part 2?
We'll do a part 2 when we're done with this. We'll have her stay and we'll ask her what works, and we will reschedule her for a part 2 if she'd like to come on a part 2. Yay. David, of course, would like her to have be a weekly show about taboos. So we'll discuss that as well. But anyway.
But I have a question.
Yes.
And the question is to Mistress K. Do you have a question for us?
Honestly, what are your guys' kinks and fetishes? Let's go there.
Let's start with David, because I want to hear what it was like in when the earth cooled. So.
Dinosaurs.
David, you're blushing.
Dinosaurs.
Yeah. What's your kink and fetishes, David? Here, let's just get a close up of this.
Oh God.
My kink or fetish?
That's what she asked.
Please don't do close up.
I find I am incredibly sexually aroused by intelligent women.
That's a pussy's answer.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
No,
Everybody is.
I'm the same though.
You asked. I told you.
I did. I love it.
That really. I'm at that, but that's just stimulating. I think to everybody if you're intelligent, isn't it?
Not necessarily. Me, it's like it probably gives me the biggest hard on is the brain of a man that just like takes me places where nobody else can.
No, honey, that's called handcuffs and a ball gag.
No,
that's okay.
That's called an Uber driver.
That's an Uber driver, right?
Very well. Okay, Steven, what's yours?
Wait. We'll do me last. What's Vicky's?
I think I have a little bit of a pain kink. I think that's why I love getting tattoos, because there's something about sitting there and having a needle stab you for a couple hours that I enjoy.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've got some
the stab
toys that are in that category. So yeah, that would be. I guess I'd have a pain kink. Not like anything too extreme though. Like I'm kind of a wimp, but like I do like that sensation.
So David's into intellectual women. That gives him a hard on, so to speak. Vicky likes pain. Noosh wants to be taken where no man has taken her before. Apparently, she's joining a
No, but I like the pain too.
Dave also likes when Noosh reads in French.
You like pain too.
That's his kink.
That's right, David. You like when Noosh speaks French.
Yeah, that's true, David.
Yes,
that is your kink.
Yes, Mistress K. I'll own up to the fact that when Noosh speaks in French and reads things in French, my testicles do melt. I would have that.
See, I'm a mistress already. I didn't know.
Oh God.
What can I say?
All
What can
right. I don't
say?
know if we want to know Stevens. Do we want to know Stevens?
No,
Yeah.
we don't. None of us want to know.
Come on.
We don't want to know.
But first of all,
Bad
I
jokes.
just,
His kink is bad jokes.
probably, yes, that's what I get. Just first of all, I want to say this. You're not a serial killer, one, until they find the bodies, and two, until then, it doesn't count. Second of all, my kink. What is my, so at university, and this is before all of you were born, except David, I had a girl that tried BDSM with me. She was a dominatrix, which is hysterical. And so
For
she
her.
tried to, no, for me, because I'm not, I'm very much dominant. So she tried and that didn't work. So I dominated and she said, you're a Dom. So I found that in my business life and my personal life, I'm very dominant. So I don't know if that's my kink. That's just
really?
my thing. I know it's hard to believe because I'm such an introvert.
I'm shocked.
No,
So
God,
I think
no.
that's
It's
my
very
kink.
easy to
So,
believe.
and I
for
don't,
me.
and as much as I'd probably, if I given the opportunity, I would probably be considered a sadist because
Oh,
I
yeah.
have no problem inflicting
100%.
pain. Personally,
Yeah.
business, it's all the same to me. It's like I have no blurred line. And
Well, that
Mistress
makes
K
me a
and I've
masochist, then, doesn't it? That
that
makes me a
does, David. That was
masochist,
my
by the
joke.
way.
The masochist and sadist. And
That would
Mistress
be
K and I
me.
and she and I have talked about this joking around because when we first met 100 years ago and we're talking, and she says, "Oh yeah, I use safe words and this." And I looked at her and went, "Safe words, pussies." That's like I'm like, who doesn't say I don't safe words? So if I was into the scene 100%, it would be bad for the people that I would play with. I would think because I have no. I don't know the word extreme, boundaries, overdoing. I do that in my business life, my personal life, when I work out. It's like my doctor when I would start riding and rowing, he'd be like, you don't have to row 20 miles every day. I'm like, yes, I do. He's like, do you know moderation? I'm like, I don't even know how to spell it. Or
Yeah,
the
but you're
meaning.
just obsessed with compulsive. I don't know.
Yeah, that's my problem. So when I do something,
Yeah.
I have to give it 500%. So I probably have a list of kinks,
There's
and
his face.
that's
Okay,
probably
but
another.
for
That's
part
another
two-
show.
Stare
Huh?
at
Part
that.
two,
For part two, we'll start off with my
list.
list of kinks. We'll scroll all the kinks before the show
Oh.
starts for
Oh
everybody.
my God, that's right. I have my hands on it.
I know, right? You look very
I
good.
was like, well, I guess
So
there you
Mistress
go.
K got to ask her questions. Everybody, her links will be below. This is a nice holiday show for the kids. No. So
Merry
and don't
Christmas to you.
Yeah, happy Hanukkah. This show it'll be out and it'll be where podcasts are available. It'll be where our YouTube channel is. We'll have Mistress K's links below. If you have questions because we didn't do it live, if you'd like our next show to be live, let us know. We can possibly do that. If not, ask your questions in the comments section and we will try to get them answered. And we will go from there. Did I miss anything?
Let's give a little homework for the people that watched. List all your kinks for part two.
Yes, I would
There you
love
go.
to know all those. There you go.
That's going to be, we'll be thrown off of YouTube in no time. So there you go. Ladies, gentlemen, thank you so much. Mistress K, thank you for your time. Stick around so we
Thank you,
can do
Mistress
the
K.
ending stuff. And that's it, boys and girls. We are done. We did another show.
Woohoo!
See you all soon. Cheers.
Woo.
David, take us home.
Stop spanking.